In a quiet neighborhood in Lagos, there lived a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo. From the outside, their big house and fancy cars made them look like the perfect family. But inside, their home was cold and full of angry silence. Mr. Adebayo was a busy banker who worked late every night. Mrs. Adebayo was a doctor who was always tired from hospital shift. They barely spoke, and when they did, it was only to argue. Their little daughter Tommy was caught in the middle, crying herself to sleep most nights. One day, after another terrible fight, Mrs. Adebayo packed her bags. "I can't do this anymore," she said, tears in her eyes. "Maybe we should just end things." Mr. Adebayo sat alone in the dark, his head in his hands. Is there any hope left for us? He wondered. The next morning, an old woman from their church, Mama Ngozi, knocked on their door. "Good morning," she said with a warm smile. "I heard about your troubles. God told me to bring you someone who can help." Behind her stood a young lady in a simple dress. Her name was Grace, and she had the kindest eyes Mr. Adebayo had ever seen. "I don't need a maid," Mr. Adebayo said, frowning. "Just try her for 1 week," Mama Ngozi insisted. "If she doesn't help, I'll take her back." With a sigh, Mr. Adebayo agreed. Grace didn't act like an ordinary maid. She woke up early to pray before starting work. She cooked delicious meals and they made sure the house was spotless. But the strangest thing, she never spoke badly about anyone. One evening, Mr. Adebayo came home to find Tommy laughing, something he hadn't heard in months. Grace was telling her a Bible story, and there, for the first time in a long while, the house felt alive. Then something even more shocking happened. Mrs. Adebayo came home from work and saw Grace humming a hymn while folding clothes. Instead of ignoring her like usual, she stopped and asked, "Why are you always so happy?" Grace smiled, "Because I know God is here even in this house." Mrs. Adebayo's eyes filled with tears. Late that night, Mr. Adebayo heard soft crying. He followed the sound and saw Grace kneeling in the living room praying. "Lord, heal this family," she whispered. "Break the anger in their hearts. Let them remember the love they once had." Mr. Adebayo's chest tightened. Was this maid praying for them? Just then he heard footsteps. Mrs. Adebayo was standing behind him, also listening. Their eyes met, and for the first time in years, they didn't look away in anger. The next morning, Grace woke up before dawn as usual, but instead of her normal routine, she headed straight for the kitchen and began grinding fresh peppers, onions, and locust beans. The rich, earthy scent filling the air. When Mrs. Adebayo walked in, she froze. "You are making ogbono soup." Her voice trembled. Grace smiled. "Yes, ma, I heard you once loved it." Mrs. Adebayo's mind flashed back to her early days with Mr. Adebayo when she would cook his favorite soup while he played with Tommy in the parlor. Those days felt like a lifetime long. Just then, Mr. Adebayo walked in, drawn by the familiar aroma. His eyes widened. "Oh, Bono, but we haven't had this since." Grace hummed softly as she stirred the pot. Food has a way of bringing back memories. Oh, Tommy, still in her pajamas, tugged her father's sleeve. "Daddy, is mommy going to eat with us today?" The room went silent. Later that week, Grace took Tommy to Oyibo Market to buy fresh ingredients. As they walked past stalls of ripe plantains and colorful and craft fabrics, an old woman suddenly grabbed Grace's hand. "My daughter," the woman croaked, squinting at her. "Your face. Have we met before? Grace gently pulled away. No, Mama, I don't think so. The old woman wouldn't let go. There is something different about you. Just then, a cat stacked with crates tipped over right toward Tommy. Grace yanked her back just in time, but the cat seller screamed. This crate nearly killed somebody. How did you move so fast? Grace simply adjusted her headscarf and then whispered to Tommy, let's go home. That evening, Mr. Adebayo was fixing a loose shelf in the living room when he accidentally knocked over a dusty photo frame, the one from his wedding day. The glass shattered. Ah, see what you have done, Mr. Adebayo snapped, rushing over. But Grace knelt beside them and carefully picked up the photo. Look how happy you both were, she said softly. In the picture, a younger Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo laughed under a traditional Ashoke canopy. Their hands joined the marriage. Mrs. Adebayo's anger faded. We were so different then. Grace handed her the photo. The love is still there. It's just buried under too many unspoken words. Mr. Adebayo cleared his throat. Maybe we should talk. That night, a fierce storm rattled the windows. Thunder boomed like the voice of God himself. Mrs. Adebayo couldn't sleep. She tiptoed to the kitchen for water and gasped. Grace was not in her room. Instead, she stood in the dark parlor, her back turned, her hands raised toward the family portrait on the wall. A soft golden glow seemed to surround her. Mrs. Adebayo's heart pounded. Am I dreaming? Then Grace spoke, but her voice didn't sound human. Father, let your will be done in this house. Before Mrs. Adebayo could react, a floorboard cracked. Grace instantly turned, her eyes glowing like fire. Mrs. Adebayo stumbled backward, her slippers screeching against the tiled floor. Grace's eyes, those impossible burning eyes, locked onto hers for one terrible second before the golden glow vanished. Grace blinked, her face returning to normal. Ma, why are you awake? She asked, voice dripping with innocent concern. Mrs. Adebayo's throat went dry. Did I imagine it? But the image was seared into her mind. Grace standing in the dark, battered in unearthly light. I just came to get water, Mrs. Adebayo stammered, clutching her chest. Grace smiled gently and stepped forward. Let me get it for you. As she reached for a glass, Mrs. Adebayo noticed something that made her blood run cold. Grace wasn't casting a shadow. The next morning, Mr. Adebayo sat at the breakfast table flipping through his newspaper. Where is Grace? He asked, noticing her absence. Tommy shrugged. She said she was going to pray in the garden. Curious, Mr. Adebayo peeked through the kitchen window. Grace knelt near the mango tree, her lips moving rapidly, but what shocked him was what lay open beside her, his old family Bible. That's strange, he thought. I haven't seen that Bible in years. He crept closer, hiding behind the hibiscus bushes. Grace whispered words floated to him. The time is near. They must choose love or pride. Then she placed her palm on the Bible, and pages began to turn by themselves. Mr. Adebayo's leg nearly gave out. What kind of maid is this? That afternoon, a loud knock echoed through the house. Grace, who was helping Tommy with homework, suddenly stiffened. Her head snapped toward the door like a predator sensing danger. Don't answer that, she said sharply, the first time she had ever raised her voice. But it was too late. Mrs. Adebayo had already opened the door. A tall man in a long black coat stood there, his face hidden under a wide-brimmed hat. When he spoke, his voice was like gravel. "I'm looking for Grace." Inside the house, all the lights flickered. Grace stepped forward, her Damiano gone. "You have no business here," she said coldly. The stranger laughed, a sound that made Tommy whimper and then hide behind her mother. "Oh, but I do," he hissed. "You've been interfering where you don't belong." The moment the stranger stepped across the threshold, the air turned icy. Picture frames rattled on the walls. The family dog Bruno, who had been sleeping in the corner, let out a whine and fled upstairs. Miss Adebayo pulled Tommy close. "Who is this man?" Grace moved in front of the family like a shield. "Leave now," she ordered the stranger, her voice suddenly layered with something not human. The intruder smirked. "Or what? You reveal what you really are." He turned to Mr. Debayo. "Do you even know who's been living in your house?" Then, with a speed no human could manage, he lunged at Grace. The stranger's fingers were inches from Grace's throat when a blinding white light exploded from Grace's body, hurling the man backwards like a rag doll. He crashed into the wall, his hat flying off to reveal horns, small twisted horns protruding from his forehead. Tommy screamed. Mrs. Adebayo nearly fainted. Mr. Adebayo stood frozen, his mouth hanging open. Grace's entire form began to shimmer. Her maid's uniform melted away, replaced by a flowing white robe. Two massive golden wings unfolded from her back, filling the entire room with their glow. The demonic stranger hissed, scrambling to his feet. "Michael's little errand girl. I should have known." "Grace." No, the angel spoke in a voice that shook the house. "You were warned never to touch this family, Abaddon." The demon named Abaddon wiped black blood from his lips. "This isn't over. The curse on their marriage still stands." Mr. Debayo found his voice. "What cause?" Abaddon grinned, revealing needle-like teeth. "Your great-grandfather made a pact with me, prosperity for his bloodline, but broken marriages for every firstborn son. You never wondered why your father and grandfather all divorced?" Mrs. Adebayo gasped. "That's why no matter how hard we tried." The angel's wing fled brighter. "The course ends tonight." Abaddon longed again, but this time he wasn't aiming for the angel. He grabbed Tommy. The demon's clawed hand wrapped around Tommy's tiny neck. One move and I snap her in half. The angel froze. Mr. Adebayo fell to his knees. "Please, take me instead." Abaddon laughed. "Oh, I will, but first." Tommy suddenly did something unexpected. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the small cross Grace had given her weeks ago. The moment the cross touched Abaddon's arm, his flesh sizzled like meat on a grill. "Ah!" The demon dropped her, recoiling in pain. That was all the opening the angel needed. With a battle cry that sounded like 1,000 trumpets, the angel leaped at Abaddon. They crashed through the living room window in a tangle of wings and claws, landing in the backyard. The ground trembled, neighbors' light flickered on. Inside the house, the Adebayos huddled together, watching through the broken window as the angel slammed Abaddon into the mango tree, splitting it in half. The demon countered by hurling her across the yard with supernatural strength. Their blows created shockwaves that shattered nearby flower pots. Then Aberdeen did something terrible. He pulled out a dagger made of black bone and plunged it into the angel's side. Golden liquid, not blood, gushed from the wound. The angel fell to one knee. Aberdeen raised the dagger for the killing strike. No! Mr. Adebayo came running out of the house, wielding the family Bible like a weapon. Mr. Adebayo charged forward, the family Bible raised high. As he ran, a verse from Ephesians 6:17 flashed through his mind. Take the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. The moment the Bible made contact with her burden, a snaring white light erupted from its pages. The demon screamed as holy fire raised up his hand. Impossible! Aberdeen shrieked. That's no ordinary Bible. The wounded angel looked up, her glowing eyes widening. It's the Adetola Ancestral Bible, written by a prayer warrior with the blood of lambs. Mr. Adebayo realized this was the same Bible his great-grandfather used to secretly combat dark forces, even while making his fatal pact. Aberdeen snared and yanked the black dagger from the angel's side, preparing to throw it at Mr. Adebayo. But before he could, Tommy threw the cup of water she's been holding directly at the demon's face. Except it wasn't just water. Grace had blessed it that morning while praying over the family's breakfast. The moment the water touched Aberdeen, his skin began to boil and peel away like a parchment paper. Holy water, the demon hurled, clawing at his face. The angel weakly smiled at Tommy, like the blood on the doorpost in Egypt. Protection comes through obedience. With Aberdeen temporarily blinded, Mrs. Adebayo, her medical instincts kicking in, rushed to the angel's side. But as she pressed her hands against the golden wound, something miraculous happened. Her wedding ring began to glow. The angel grasped her hand. Your marriage covenant is still recognized in heaven. Use it. Remembering the pastor's words from their wedding day, what God has joined together. Miss Adebayo stood and shouted with all her might, in the name of Jesus Christ, we break every curse and command you to leave. Aberdeen froze mid-attack. The ground beneath him cracked open, revealing a chasm of darkness. No! This family was mine. He raged as invisible forces dragged him downward. The angel added in a thunderous voice, it is written, submit to God, resist the devil, and then he will flee from you. With one final ear-splitting scream, Aberdeen was sucked into the abyss, the earth sealed shut behind him. As dawn broke, the Adebayos huddled around the wounded angel in their ravaged backyard. Her glow was dimming. You are dying, Tommy wept, clutching the angel's hand. The celestial being smiled. My mission is complete. Your family is free. Mr. Adebayo fell to his knees. Who are you, really? I am Lila, sent to break generational curses when sincere prayers ascend. She touched the Bible in his hand. This was never lost. You just stopped reading it. As her body began dissolving into golden mist, she whispered one last promise. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Then she was gone. 1 year later, the Adebayos, now leading a marriage ministry at their church, helping other struggling couples. Tommy keeps the cross Grace gave her on her school bag as a reminder. That same Bible now sits open on their dining table every morning. And sometimes when they pray together, they swear they hear a faint echo of humming in the breeze. No cause is greater than God's power. Just like the Israelites in Jericho, faith and obedience break strongholds. Marriage covenants matter in heaven. What you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Angels are still walking among us. Some entertain them unawares. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you, like this video, share it with someone who needs it. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories like this one. Turn on the notifications because in our next video, we are diving into another tale that will shock you and heal you. This is where stories aren't just told, they transform.